So what do you do if you're giving a presentation, a talk, a briefing, a speech, and you do have to talk about negative things, problems? That's real life. You can't be Susie Sunshine every second of the day, but you have to be extraordinarily careful because there's always a danger that your negative message completely overwhelms every positive thing out of your mouth. There's something about human beings, the way we are programmed to place greater importance on the negative, the risk. Prehistoric times, if someone said to you, oh, it's going to be safe walking through the jungle or the savannas for this many miles, they didn't use miles back then, but there's a tiger that could jump out and eat you at an hour mark, you're not going to remember the safe stuff. You're going to remember, oh, in an hour, I'm going to be in a part of the jungle or the savannah where a tiger or a lion can jump out and eat me. And it's important because knowing that, remembering that will save your life. So there's something about human beings where we are hardwired to remember and fixate on negativity because that relates to risk. So what does this mean from a practical level? If you're in a job interview and someone says to you, so why are you leaving your job? What did you not like about your last job or your last boss? You may think you're being completely candid and forthcoming and positive by talking about 9 things you really liked in your job and then sort of casually mentioning, but I hated the fact that my boss was always late and disorganized and it made it impossible to get things done on time. It may seem like a little aside, but the problem with that message is it's profoundly negative. It's therefore memorable. The person interviewing you may think, well, TJ's trashing his last boss to the world that way. If I hire him, he's going to trash me to other people in the future. I might be better off eliminating risk by not hiring TJ. When that person gets together with other colleagues about who should we hire for this position, and they've all interviewed half a dozen people, it may be the only thing remembered about my interview performance is that I said negative things about my previous boss. Am I asking you to lie and say positive things about everybody all the time? No, I'm not. What I'm urging you to do is to be highly selective because the human brain remembers negative information. If you're talking to the media, for example, and you go on and on and on about every great thing your company is doing and everything you've done for the last 2 years, but then you say something like, well, sure, when the pandemic hit, we, of course, were scared out of our mind and afraid that we would be out of business. That's the quote that's going to get in the story because it's negative, it's attacking, it's emotion, it's action-oriented. It's all the things attractive to journalists to make an interesting story. It's not because journalists want to make you look bad, even though you might think they do. They want an interesting story that people will talk about and remember. And people remember the negative. So in many cases, if you want to be a successful communicator, you're going to have to really make priorities and ask yourself, if I can only get this audience to remember 1 or 2 things, what will it be? And if it's not that you're trying to solve a particular problem, this bridge fell down, we got to make sure it doesn't happen again, that may be a legitimate message. This airplane has doors fall off, we got to solve that problem. Okay, if you're solving a really big problem, you do have to talk about it. But you got to be highly selective. And then you've got to spend your time building a positive case for the messages you want people to understand to motivate them to do what you want them to do. Really decide in advance if you're going to use any negative message. Do people already know this? If a bridge already fell down, people know about it in most cases. If an airplane went down because the window fell off, people know about that. So they're not going to associate you with being gratuitously negative or nasty. And this gives you the opportunity to talk about your solutions, what you want to do, how you want to solve the problem. And that is the safer ground when you are speaking. The answer quite often is you can't go into every little nuance in every presentation. You have to make judgments. So if it's a new audience, it's an audience that doesn't know everything about what you do, they don't know everything about you, be selective with your negativity. Focus primarily on positive messages because that will help you succeed. If you want to be more successful, then improve your communication skills. The best way to do that? Smash the subscribe button right now.